lining up to get some sustenance. Al Jazeera filmed these refugees and Belarusian troops in the Bruzgi area near the Polish border. Belarus has, in recent days, stepped up attempts to show it's treating people humanely. On Tuesday night, it provided shelter for hundreds of men, women and children in this warehouse. The commentary on this video comes from Belarusian state media. Many of them have now returned to the forest. These pictures from Wednesday, filmed by Poland's Interior Ministry, apparently show migrants leaving a makeshift camp as Belarusian forces look on. Some are carrying logs, the only thing that's kept them warm at night. Overnight, there were fresh attempts to break through the razor wire and reach Polish territory. Hours earlier, Polish forces had used water cannon across the border at a group of migrants. Polish border forces said they were attacked with stones. Polish police said one officer was taken to hospital with a head injury.
Myanmar's military has been systematically torturing detainees in the wake of pro-democracy protests in the country. That's according to an investigation by the AP news agency based on interviews with former prisoners and people who worked in the army. The junta has arrested more than 7,000 people since a coup overthrew the democratically elected government of Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi in February this year. And despite international sanctions, the junta's use of torture to suppress democracy continues.
March 2021. People in Yangon still had faith they could reverse the month-long military takeover. Those hopes were crushed as the junta moved in and swept up hundreds of fleeing protesters, loading them into trucks. Since then, it's happened over and over again, leaving physical and mental scars for the detainees.
Rubber and live bullets were shot in Khartoum and two neighboring cities, Bari and Omdurman, where thousands protested against the military takeover. Wednesday was the deadliest day since the October 25th coup. Authorities led by General al-Burhan tried to stop demonstrations. Phone lines and internet connections have been down. Activists and journalists have been arrested. But residents still managed to come together no matter the risk. The military takeover ended a fragile transition to civilian rule. The government was toppled, many ministers were arrested. Deposed Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok is under house arrest, with the military pressuring him to join them.
Yes, we believe that this happened about 10 o'clock this morning UK time as the aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth was sailing through the Mediterranean Sea on return from an operation that it's been doing out in the east. We're told by the MOD that this was a routine flying operation, essentially a training mission or to keep up the pilot's flying hours, when something went wrong and the pilot felt that he or she needed to eject from the aircraft. So the pilot did that. The pilot has been recovered safely back to the aircraft carrier, but it means that the jet has gone down into the sea, has crashed and has been lost. That's an expensive plane. The important thing is that the pilot is safe after that search and rescue mission, but there will now be an investigation to work out what went wrong here, what caused this.
The face-painted, bare-chested man who became the infamous poster boy of the US Capitol riots has been jailed for more than 3 years. Jacob Chansley, the man known as the QAnon Shaman, telling court he wasn't a domestic terrorist, but a good man who broke the law.
Parading through the People's House with bullhorns, face paint and a spear, Jacob Chansley entered the Senate chamber, leaving a note for Mike Pence.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
Today, Chansley received his 41 months in prison and 3 years of probation for obstruction of an official proceeding. He demanded organic food behind bars and sought a presidential pardon. The man they call the QAnon Shaman, barely recognisable without his face paint and fur, addressed the judge for 30 minutes in a stunning about-face.
Eskom suspects foul play at some of its power plants. It believes units may have been sabotaged at the Matimba power station.
We have difficulty in believing that this is entirely coincidental, so we have dispatched a forensic team to site. They will be investigating. We will also be deploying additional security to site in order to ensure that we can protect our assets. My fundamental point of departure has always been not to attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence, but when you have 3 simultaneous unit trip like this, it certainly does arouse suspicion.
Tensions between the Philippines and China have again erupted over Chinese claims on the South China Sea. The Philippines have accused Chinese Coast Guard vessels of firing water cannons at boats that were delivering supplies to the Filipino military personnel in South China Sea, specifically the second Thomas Shoal, which belongs to Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Ordering Beijing to back off, Foreign Secretary Teodoro Locsin has said that he expressed his outrage, condemnation and protest over the incident, which he said occurred on Tuesday. He further added that while no one was hurt, the Filipino boats had to abandon their mission. Tensions over the South China Sea were further highlighted earlier this year after hundreds of Chinese vessels were detected at the Whitsun Reef.